Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in. As always, I'm looking forward to having some crafty time with you. Today, I thought we'd do a little bit of relaxing painting, so I hope you don't mind. Might be a good time. Plump up your cushions, make yourselves comfy, maybe put your feet up. I like to have a little stool, just put my feet up on a stool. Does that mean I'm getting that age? Well, I don't care. Do you know what? It's lovely. Nice brew, cheeky biscuit, feet up. Just what we need, isn't it? I'm actually sat here with Eric at my feet, so they're more or less feet up. And I'm going to use today, last time I was at Lavinia, I bought myself a set of these, and it's the Gansai Tambi. Do you know what? I need nice, easy words to pronounce. So Gansai Tambi Gem Colours. It's a lot to get my teeth round. And they are absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at these colours. You're probably going to get a glare off the light. But red, pink, gold, green, blue and violet. Now you activate them with water. You can either spritz them before you start or add water from a water brush or do a combination of both. You know what it's like. You'll find a way to use them. And what I thought I'd do for my first play, I've not used them before, so I thought I would create a tag. And this is the sort of thing I'm going to do. I went for one of our lovely large watercolour tags. So it's one of these, look, and it's the large. So these are, I know if you've asked for sizes, so it's 75mm by 180, and you get 5, the 300 GSM look. So I've got a large one of those ready. And I thought I'd use our beautiful hummingbird. Now, this is a smaller one. We've got a large one and a small one. And so many florals you could go for. I've gone for the shadow bloom. But I have to say, I enjoyed creating this so much that on my desk I had a smaller tag. So the watercolour tags come in large and small. And the smaller one, I'd done a mop up. So that's where we've been inking. There was ink on my mat. I spritzed it with water and just mopped it up on a tag. Look, you can see some mop up on the back. And I thought, you know what? I love the vibrant colours here, but I thought because I've got that colour already, what happens if I just use the blue and the purple? And I love that. So I'm thinking today I'll probably show you how I like to use a lot of the colours, especially the first time I use something. But then you can do lots of tags. You could use just say the pink and the red or the gold and the blue. Think of how many combinations you could get with this. And I've got a lovely craft yarn at the top. So I'm going to put those up there. And I'm going to start with my stamping. So, as always, I've got myself some copy paper just because it's the way I rock. I'm going to use Nocturne, so it's the Versafine Clair, the black. And I want to do my stamping in black. But I find whenever I'm watercolouring, I like a little bit of a raised edge, a bit of a gutter. It just helps me. So I'm going to use the Wow embossing powder, and it's a clear gloss regular. Now, you'll have seen me do this before. I would always suggest taking the lid off before we start. And what we'll do first is we'll stamp our beautiful hummingbird. Now, I have to say I was torn. I quite fancied doing Indra, the large moth. Do you know what? Then I thought, shall I just do some flowers? Anyway, in the end, I went for the hummingbird. But we have got so many stamps, you know. Have a look in your stash and look, I'm sure you've got plenty of stamps that will just work so well with these. So I'm just going to stamp this. And I'd love to know, you know, have you got these beautiful gems, these lovely watercolour Gansai Tambi paints? Have you got them and have you used them? Because that's the thing. We are little tinkers, aren't we? We buy these things. And then we just put them to one side and we look at them. If it's papers, we stroke. Some of us sniff, you know. We are funny creatures, us crafters. Right, embossing powder on. And I'm just going to put that back in here. Now, you could stamp. Your Versafine Clair has got a long open time, drying time. You could stamp both. But I didn't want to take the risk doing this live. So I'm going to stamp mine separately. I'd love to know, you know, how many products have you bought? And I've hold my hands up here. I'm the same. Buy these things, put them on one side, look. And then sometimes I'm almost scared of using something new. You know, I'll admit it. Sometimes I'm just busy. And sometimes, I've got to be honest, I put them to one side. And don't tell my husband this, but I do forget I've bought them. How many of us have done that? And then we go and buy the same thing again. But shh, we don't tell our partners that, do we? Right, I'm stamping the flowers down the side, and then I'm just going to put some flowers across there. And a little tip here, depending on how much painting you want to do, depends on how many flowers you stamp. If you want to paint lots and have a lovely afternoon, I mean, again, I think if Mr. Mojo's gone on holiday, and he does, doesn't he? I think this will be a lovely project to do. Stamp yourself up some tags or some spare pieces of card. We all keep them, don't we? Right, all that goes back in there. You know, do your stamping one day, even your heat embossing, you know, and then come in and have a lovely afternoon. You see, get your feet on that stool, feet up, get yourself that brewing cheeky biscuit and just do some painting. Now, I'm using a heat tool and I'm just going to let it heat up first, so it will be a bit noisy. And remember, when we do the heat embossing, we slowly move around our work. So we'll start at the bottom, look, and you will see the flowers turn a lovely black colour as the gorgeous heat embossing, but we don't want to overdo it. Work your way around slowly. So can you see, I'm just coming onto the hummingbird now. And if I knock that off, can you see it's all black and shiny? Now, a little tip, if you're one of our new friends and followers, if I carried on heating this, see this is raised now and it's shiny. If I carried on, it would overheat, it would burn, and it would go flat, almost absorbed into the card. And it's that lovely shiny raised effect that I want. So don't overheat, especially if you're new. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to give these a bit of a spritz. Wake them up. Come on, wakey, wakey. Give them a spritz to wake them up. And then just for the background here, I just want to add a little bit of colour. So I'll come in with my circle mask just to give the idea that the moon's there. And then Blue Lagoon is going to be my blue of choice. But I'm sure you can have a look through your blue inks. Now again, blend in the lid. And I'm just going to gently, I just want to take the whiteness off that back of the card. Just want to add that bit of colour. And it doesn't matter if you go over the flowers, because your watercolours will go over the top. I can take my moon mask off, turn it round and just come in from the base now. And just add a little bit darker at the bottom, I think. Yep, happy with that. And then what I am going to do with my fan brush, which is in my water pot, just going to come in and add a little bit of faux bleaching. So I'll just pop that back on there and just around. Just a little bit more interest into that colour in the background. And then we'll give this a wipe. Pop this to one side. And then we'll just clean up. We've got a bit of ink on here. Now again, I would smoosh another tag. And that's where I would let it dry and then stamp and make another one of these. And you know what? If you keep doing this, you almost get that free background each time, ready to add colour to. So I'm just going to grab myself a piece of kitchen roll and bring this in now. So I just want to check that you can see, and I've got my lovely paints here, and I've got my paintbrush. And the paintbrush I've gone for is number 1. Now you'll find you have a favourite. Just going to come in with the gold first, and I just want to highlight the lovely beak look, and maybe a couple of, and again it varies. I think I could paint this hummingbird so many times and add colour in different place at different times. But I think that's nice not to have almost any set. And you'll feel it's a lot more forgiving when you're painting, when you've got that raised gutter, because it almost resists the paint and you've less chance of your colours running. And honestly, this is just so relaxing. Now, if your paint starts to dry up, just add more water. And it's like everything, if you want a deeper colour, it's less water. If you want a more watercolour effect, add more water. And I know that's obvious, but sometimes, you know, we need to point out the obvious. And I'm just going to colour some of these just randomly. Now, as we know, random is not easy to do, but I'm just going to have a go, and I'm just going to take my time and just add that beautiful paint. Now again, I'm just going to twist the brush and it'll just keep it to that nice point. And again, I'm going to turn the tag just so that the area that I'm painting is nearest to me, just because I find that easier. I mean, there's no point making it difficult for yourself, is there? And as I say, it might be you want to paint all the flowers one colour. Do you know what? If you needed to make, say, golden wedding anniversary card, and the recipient, why do I say these words and then I can't say them? The recipient likes hummingbirds. Could paint it all gold, couldn't you? And it would be beautiful. Must admit, I've never seen a hummingbird in real life. I'm sure some of you have. I think you're very lucky. I think they're quite small, really, aren't they? I've seen a kingfisher. I was lucky enough when I was fishing with my dad when I was younger. And there was a kingfisher, absolutely beautiful. And again, they're tiny, but very vivid. And they fly so quick. Right, to change colour, just going to pop my brush in my pot and then just dry it on my Inky Binky or on the kitchen roll. And then I think we'll go into the blue next. So again, I'm just going to turn this round. I'm going to have the little feathers here. Beautiful, vivid blue. And then some of these ones here, just going to add some blue. And then we'll have some blue flowers. And I can't wait to look at all my floral stamps, as I say, to see which other ones I think will paint beautifully. Now, if I go quiet, that's just because I'm just going to be in that zone and just enjoying myself painting. And you know, if something's happening at the minute in your life that's just a bit stressful, this is a lovely way to relax. So if maybe you've had a challenging day at work, or there's something going on in your family life that's challenging, and let's be honest, it happens to all of us. You know, all families, all jobs, these things happen. It's part of life. Ups, downs, sideways, you know, it knocks us. But this is just a lovely way. Now, if there was a water splat there, look, so I'll just show you. If it's too watery, just take your kitchen roll and just, it'll suck a little bit of that water up, and then I can carry on and paint. If you're worried that the colours were going to run, you can do exactly the same thing. Just suck some of that water up. Now, I know some of you are asking, this I could dry, look. I like to leave things and let them just dry naturally. But if you were worried about that faux bleaching, just let it dry naturally. Now, what colour? You see, I need to know, I don't want to add all the colours. I'm thinking, do I go greens or pinks? I think pinks. I'm going to go pink. So, sorry, if you didn't say pink. If you said green, well, I'll maybe have to paint it again. But I just fancy the pink. So, again, these larger wings, just going to come in and paint with this gorgeous pink. Bless him, Eric's fast asleep here, he's snoring. That isn't me, it's not my tummy rumbling. Now, if my head comes in shot, it's just because I'm just getting quite close to this, because I just want to see where I'm painting. I'm struggling with that random thing. But you know what's lovely as well? The colours blend. So on the blue one, so what I could do, look, was get a little bit of the pink on my mat and then mix a little bit of the blue. And then, I mean, it's actually giving me more or less the violet colour anyway. But if you were just doing this in, say, the green, if you just wanted to have green flowers, you could maybe mix a little bit of the green with the gold, and then you'd have greeny gold tones. But I'm all for experimenting like that. Have a little play on your mat and mix the colours, look. And that way you just get slightly different colour tones. And after all, that's like flowers, isn't it? You don't get them the same. You do get the difference in the colour tones. You know, even if you've got, I've just bought a new red rose, and the flowers, they're not all the same red. It is amazing. I've got one more up there. So thank you, whoever shouted that out. And what you can do, if you want it slightly darker, look, so just here, I just want a little bit more colour. So I can just, when it's dry, go back in and add a little bit more just to deepen that colour. I could also, if I wanted, add a little bit of the blue, and that would just give me a darker tone, or this lovely purpley colour here. So again, you can mix the colours, but look at that. I'm really hoping you can see the sheen on there. It is just so beautiful. Now I'm going to mop this up, but obviously you could use that as clean up for another design, or I would just keep colouring, painting more and more. Just want to add a little bit of white here. So I'm just going to get a little bit of either white Posca, or I've got the mangaka, and I'm just going to pop a little bit on my mat, look, and then pick that up, and I'm just going to paint that on here. And because of the resist, it will just go into those areas, and it'll just pop that bit more. There we go. So again, I'm hoping you can see that. Now when it's dry, I'll just add some white highlights with my pen as well. And with this look, just in the middle of the flowers, just go in and add, and maybe just a little bit on there, but on the wing. And as I say, it'll show up more when it's dry. But I'll just give you the idea, look. I would just come in. I mean, your liquid pearls would look lovely in the middle of the flowers. But I think just that white, maybe just a slight down there. Now again, we'll clean that up. Now you could have added some flecks. When I cleaned that ink as well, on here, the paint, I've added the water splats, look, with it. So lots of things you could smoosh on a piece of card. You could add the water splats. And I'm just going to add some of our lovely sentiment stickers. And we've got this lovely space down here for this. So I'm going to go for hello there. And then I've got the word amazing. I also picked up the word thank you then. But we'll just go for amazing. Hello, amazing. And look, the word colour is there. So hello, amazing colour. And that just goes nicely into the corner. Now on my original, I added some white splats right at the end, but I'm going to add some of the sparkle, the lovely yellow sparkle, just again to fill in this area. And I think because we've got the gold, the yellow sparkle looks very gold. And I just think it ties the whole thing together. Now, this is a perfect thing for Tuesday because it's our Tag Tuesday. Can't speak, can I? So if you don't know, on our lovely group, Lavinia for You on Facebook, and I hope you've joined, we have a little thing on a Tuesday where we all share a tag that we've made. It can be a recent one, an older one, as long as it's using your lovely Lavinia products. So this is a perfect thing for Tag Tuesday, perfect design. All it needs is some lovely threads. Now this is our craft yarn, and I've gone for sort of a reddy colour, the blue and the gold. Now I just put mine, a few of you have asked, I just put mine, look, make a shape and pop it through here. But a few of you have said you can't do that. So a little tip, get yourself a piece of, this is just a piece of very thin elastic. And what you do is pop the elastic from front to back and give yourself a big loop, look. Now where I've made this loop here that I want to pull through, just pop it in that loop there. And then the elastic will pull that through for you, look. So there's my 3 pieces of craft yarn, which I then happily get these and pull them through. Now I don't even know where this black thin elastic came from, but it's so useful. I keep it, and that's a very important tool. Keep it on my desk. And there we go. We've got that lovely, beautiful, vibrant. And just to remind you, only because I'm going to test myself, see if I can say it again. So these are the Gansai Tambi, and these are the gem colours. And you get 6 in a pack. Beautiful. And as you can see, I've hardly used any. Great. Those of you that want to go to the caravan or on holiday, maybe take a water pen, water brush. I think there's so much you can do with these. And just altering them. Look, the difference with changing the colours. I love this with just the blues. Definitely having a bit of a blue time at the minute. Don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, you take care. I can't wait to see what you're going to create. Have fun, and please tag me in because I'd love to see, have you got these paints, and let me know how long have you had them. So please get them out and have fun. I'll see you again soon. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.